Hey everybody, this is Jason Akers again with Akers Pest Control. Trying to do a live stream tonight. I know it's kind of late. It's after midnight, Eastern Standard Time, Eastern Daylight Savings Time, whatever we're on now. We're going to go over a little bit. We're going to talk about whether you should or should not try your own exterminating, whether it's cost effective, if you're going to save money or not. So basically, that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Let me see. I don't know. Oh, well, I guess my phone's charging. I was going to bring up my phone so I could keep up with the chat messages, but I've got a menu here on the side panel here. I'll just have to look over at it every now and then. And you'll have to bear with me. I've been fighting this flu. My wife got a job working at the hospital, and so she shares all of her sicknesses with me and the family and everybody. So that's a thing. So yeah, I do have a live chat up tonight. If you have any questions at all, feel free to ask me. I'm here to answer any questions you got. But anyway, so basically what we're going to talk about tonight is we're going to talk about whether or not you should do your own exterminating. Now, if oh, I want to mention too, right at the start of the video, before I forget, if you like my live streams or you want to see more of them, hit the like button so I know that it's something that you're interested in, and I'll try to do more live streams more regularly. And you know, basically just come in here and answer your questions anytime. You know, we'll work something out, a good schedule where I can come on here and talk to you. So if you like the video, then we'll figure something out where I could do more regular live streams. But anyway, oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, because if you subscribe, you'll get notifications when I go live, so you don't miss a live stream if it happens to be off schedule. I try to live stream Friday nights. Excuse me. I'm going to have to mute my mic next time that happens. So you want to do your own exterminating, but you're not sure if it's worth the money, if it's better to hire an exterminator. Now, this is a big, huge can of worms I'm about to open up. And the reason I'm doing it live like this is so maybe I can get some interaction from people asking questions about, like I said, whether or not they should do their own exterminating or what it actually takes to do it. Now, my wife did mention, she reminded me of a time where, oh, you know, I forgot to bring that picture. Let's see if I can get it. Excuse me. Let's bring this into the scene. See if this will work. There we go. Google. Yeah. So let's go to, yeah, see, we've all got it. She's got it too. Let's go to google.com. Oh, but you know what? Let's just search. I'm trying to remember where I've got this picture saved. I don't even know where it is. I can't remember. Maybe it was Facebook? No. Well, I'll try to find that picture if I can. Right now, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Basically, what happened to me is I got into a nest of yellow jackets for a customer, and but actually they were bald-faced hornets, and they stung me up pretty bad. Normally, I don't get stung on the job. It doesn't happen very often, but that day it did, and I swole up pretty bad. I had to drive home about an hour away, and while I was driving, I could feel my eyes swelling shut. And by the time I got home, one eye had completely swollen shut. And by the next morning when I woke up, I could hardly open either one of my eyes because the bee had stung me on the side of my ear, and it swole up my whole face. You have to forgive me. I got to drink water, try to keep my throat moistened so I'm not all scratchy and stuff trying to talk to you guys. But anyway, what happened was I got into a nest of hornets, you know, trying to take care of them for a customer so he didn't get stung, and in the process got eaten up myself. And I swell up really bad to hornets, wasps, yellow jackets, you know, basically any kind of bee sting really bothers me. Honeybees don't really bother me that much, but the yellow jackets and hornets, the wasps and things, they really do bother me. And you got to keep that into mind when you try to do your own exterminating. Now, a lot of people do go out and try to handle their own bees, and most of the time, 9 times out of 10, people get stung. Uh, Now, I rarely get stung. You know, that's what I was telling the guy. Of course, I opened my big mouth and had to tell him about, oh yeah, I never get stung on the job, this, that, and the other. Like the crocodile hunter hunting the crocodile, you know, he doesn't get bit either, you know, but because if you know what you're doing, you can handle a nest of bees and not get stung. And so, like I said, that's what happened to me. So you have to keep that in mind when you do your own pest control, that you're probably going to run into issues that, you know, an exterminator, a professional, is just not going to have happen to them. The amount of money you have to put down for the equipment to do the job properly, boy, you're really coughing over there. Uh, to be able to do the job properly, it's expensive. If you get like a B&G, yeah, I can show you what that looks like. Now, this is a piece of equipment that, let's see if I pull it up here. There we go. Let's see, B and G. Now, let's see here. We'll go to images. This is a B&G. See, now this is on Do My Own Pest Control. Just give you an idea of the all the ads. The price is, it's like, see, it's $250 for one of these spray cans. Now, the amount of money, now this is a short wand too. I usually get the extended wand. It's a longer wand on it. I get this one. No, that's the little one too. Well, I don't know why they don't, oh, there it is. There we go. See, that's the 18-inch wand. I like to use that one. That's the one I prefer. But anyway, that's a pretty expensive piece of equipment there. It's a $256. You know, free shipping if you order from them. So that's the cost of an actual piece of professional equipment. Now you can go to Walmart and let's see, you could search a garden sprayer, and there you get a little cheap gallon garden sprayer. Now that's $5, $7. That's not very expensive, but it's also not the quality of a B&G, which you'd get if you actually spent the extra, you know, a couple $100 and got a really good piece of equipment like that. You know, that's a really nice piece of equipment right there. So, man, you're making me cough now. So keep that in mind when you're doing your own pest control, the type of the money that you're actually going to put down to get the equipment. Now, let's say you want to kill a let's see, if you want to take care of like bed bugs. All right. Now I'm going to show you this too. Oh man, pesticide. There we go. This is Crossfire. Now I talk about this on my channel a lot. Crossfire bedbug concentrate. Now this is a gallon. This is going to run you like $330. You've got see, you can get it cheaper, the 13 ounces. This is a 13 ounce. Now that's how much it takes to add to a full gallon. So that B&G I showed you earlier, that's how much you have to put into a full gallon container in order to get a full gallon of mixed finished product, something that you can actually treat for bed bugs with. Now if you figure on $250 plus, well, shoot, $325, that's going to run you, let's see, $275 plus 3, that's almost yeah, that's over 600. That's almost $600 there is what you're spending on just the chemical and the sprayer. Now, bed bugs are pretty expensive to get rid of if you hire somebody else to do it. But And so you're going to probably save money over pest control. Now, depending on who you're hiring to do the work, uh, now if you just get a 13-ounce bottle, you'd only be out what, $300 if you buy a B&G to do the job. And that's what I would recommend if you're going to do a bed bug job yourself. You really need a decent piece of equipment to do it right, so that you're not going to, do the job wrong. You want to make sure if you're going to spend the money that everything's going to be done right. Um, so that's what you can do. If you're going to do your own bed bugs, you probably will come out ahead using Crossfire. It's what I always recommend. It's not a very difficult pesticide to use. It's a very safe label. Let me show you. I'll show you the label here. This is the aerosol label, Crossfire insecticide, bed bugs. So you really need to follow your labels. That's not it. That is not the label. Well, I had the label earlier. Oh, that's why. It's because it's searching for aerosol. No wonder. There we go. All right, see, it's for bed bugs. That's what it's for. These are the active ingredients. And then you've got now this is what I need to actually go over this with y'all anyway, on how to read your label and how to properly use your label. Here, let me pull up the chat just in case. I don't want to miss anybody's chat messages. Let me try to fix that so that that comes up there too. There we go. So yeah, so the label for Crossfire, it says it kills bed bugs and bed bug eggs, but that, of course, I've went over that before, what that means to kill the bed bug eggs, but I'm not going to go over that now, but I do have a video about that if you want to go back to my channel and search that out. But see, it's really just designed to kill bed bugs. It's really only labeled for bed bugs, so you don't want to use it for anything but bed bugs. It says here that use restrictions. This product is not for use on humans or animals. Now, I did have a lady that asked me not too long ago if it would be possible to use Crossfire on their own body, and I told her no, that is not a good idea. You don't use pesticide on yourself. You're not a dog or a cat. You don't use Frontline on your dog and then you go and just put the spot on the back of your neck either. So that's something you never put it on your body. Do not spray the product directly on pets, not for broadcast use. So you don't want to spray your whole carpet. That's what that means when it says not for broadcast use. It means do not spray your entire carpet. Do not use in commercial food, feed processing, preparation, food, feed, storage, or serving areas, that's pretty much on every label of pesticide. Basically what they're saying is you don't want to use it around where people are processing or making food, because you don't want it to contaminate the food. It says in the home, all food, feed, processing surfaces, utensils should be covered so that no drift gets on anything that's dishes or food or anything like that, and it should be washed before you use it. Remove pets, birds, cover fish aquariums before spraying, because you don't want pets to walk through pesticide. You don't want them getting into pesticide. That's normal. This is all common sense stuff. This product will not stain water-safe fabric or surfaces. However, care should be taken to at least to attest as inconspicuous area for staining prior to use. So, test it on like a sofa or something. If you're going to have to treat a sofa or a bed or something, you want to test it, make sure if it's an area that people are going to see. You want to use it in a spot where people aren't going to see if it stains or not, just to make sure it doesn't stain. Do not allow adults, children, pets to enter a treated area until the spray is dry. This is why we tell you need to be out of the house for 2 or 3 hours after we treat to make sure the chemical is dry, because it's the law. See, that's really cut and dry. And we have to follow the law. As pesticide applicator, we have to follow the law. It's the law. Do not apply to plants or crops. Do not treat areas when occupants are present. This is why you have to leave the house when we treat your house for bugs. Because it says right on the label, we are not allowed to treat if you're in the house when we're treating. All right. Do not apply as a space spray. That means you can't put it into the air. You can't, treat it in a fog machine and fog the air with it. It's not allowed to be done with that. Do not wet articles to the point of runoff or drip. So basically what this means is if you are treating a bed for bed bugs, which this label does allow the treatment of a bed, if you're treating the bed, you're not supposed to get it so wet that the chemical actually runs off the mattress. That is too wet. That is way too wet. It says do not use treated articles until spray has dried. So if you're treating a mattress or a box spring or something like that, then you want to make sure that you put your sheet on back on and your covers and everything like that after it's dry. Don't do it before it's dry. And then this tells you, what you've got in your B&G, how to mix it. The C-Pest is 13 fluid ounces in a finished gallon. Excuse me. It's for bed bugs. That's what it's for. It's only for bed bugs, which means you can't spray it for ants because it's only for bed bugs. Okay. Risks of using this product. The buyer and the user, referred to collectively herein as the buyer of this product, should be aware that there are inherent unintended risks associated with the use of this product which are impossible to eliminate. These risks include, but are not limited to, the lack of control of the target pests, resistance of the target pest to this product, injury caused by drift. Such risks of non-performance resistance or other unintended consequences are unavoidable and may result because of such factors as presence, materials. All right, so what this is saying, and all this legal speak, is basically some bugs are immune to the chemical. You have to understand that resistance is going to be present in some bugs. You can't expect the chemical to work perfectly every time. Now, I have had really good results with it. It's worked really good for me. I haven't really run into resistances yet in Virginia. That doesn't mean that resistances will not crop up. It does happen from time to time with pesticides. Now see, it says right here, this is why I'm really specific. It says, important, read the entire label, including this disclaimer, risks of use of this product before you use it. They want you to read all this. And that's it. That's the label. It's a pretty simple, easy, understandable. You say, applicators and other handlers must wear. This is something you need to look at because this is something a lot of people don't do. Now, this is personal protective equipment, PPE. This is what you're expected to wear when you're using the pesticide. Excuse me. Applicators and other handlers must wear a long-sleeved shirt, long pants, and shoes and socks. Now, it doesn't say anything about gloves. That's one thing I point out to people when I use this pesticide is most pesticides, when it says like I said, the PPE for the pesticide, it will actually say that they expect you to wear gloves when handling the chemical. This one doesn't even have that on it. There's no, precautionary word like warning, caution, danger. None of those words are present on this label. This is why I recommend Crossfire for bed bugs. It's very safe. It's very effective. Residual control and or kill up to 4 weeks or 30 days or 1 month begins working within the minutes of exposure or application. So that means when you spray the chemical, after it's applied, it'll be effective for up to 30 days after the application. So don't expect it to kill anything past 30 days. Now, I am getting a longer residual than 30 days. I've been having it kill bed bugs longer than 30 days, but don't use that. Don't use my experience as an example. Read the label. The label says 30 days. Don't expect longer than 30 days. This is all the places you can and cannot use it. Just follow the label. I really did need to go over this. I kind of took a little bit longer on this. This really isn't pertinent to what we're talking about tonight. But, like I said, your labels are important. You should always read your label. I hope this has helped you guys understand a label so that you won't be confused about how you should and shouldn't apply pesticides. So, now let's get back on the subject at hand, whether or not you save money as an exterminator. if you do your own exterminating or if you hire an exterminator. All right, when you're dealing with cockroaches, it's better to hire an exterminator. You're going to save money if you hire an exterminator. The reason I say this is because roaches are immune to a lot of pesticides. Pesticides are expensive. I just showed you labels. Crossfire is $330 for a gallon of Crossfire. If you have to go to the farm store or somewhere where you can actually get concentrate and you're mixing your own concentrates, you're going to have to buy 3 or 4 different concentrated chemicals. The amount of money that you're going to have to invest in pesticide, and you're not even going to have to use them all, because the way that you kill cockroaches, and I'm going through this now on my Monday, Roach Mondays. I've got a Cockroach Monday series. I've been doing that. Last month I did a Mouse Monday, and this month I'm doing a Cockroach Monday, and it may go into December, January, probably even into February, maybe a little bit, because there's so much information about cockroaches that I'm going to share with you. But the main thing is that roaches build immunity to pesticides. And so just realize that whatever you buy at the store, the consumer can get, anybody can get, and these roaches came from someone else's house or someone else's property. So you're bringing them in and they've already been exposed to pesticide. Understand that when you bring them in your house, when you bring roaches in your house, the chemical you use, other people can buy too. And so what will happen is they will already have been exposed to the pesticide. Now, what exterminators can get, typically what happens with pesticide is the pesticide is released to the general public several years after exterminators have already had their hands on it. Now, that doesn't ring true always. With the advent of the internet, you can go and get basically everything we use unless it's restricted use. Now, if it's a restricted use pesticide or rodenticide or something like that, you will not be able to buy it unless you have a license. They actually require that you give them proof that you are a licensed technician, or they will not sell it to you. Now, pesticide, liquid pesticide, most liquid pesticides are not restricted use, which means anyone in the general marketplace can buy them. Now, there are some retailers that will not sell to you unless you have a license, but that's just because of their policy. Kind of like how Walmart has a policy where they won't sell alcohol to you if your wife is standing there and she doesn't have a license, which is ridiculous, because that happened to me. I was at Walmart with my 2 kids and my wife. I was getting ready to check out all my groceries. The woman had rung every grocery up. She ran a bottle of wine through the thing, and she said, does she have her license? And my wife wouldn't even buy in the wine. And I was like, well, no, she didn't even drive here. She left her purse at home. Oh, well, I can't sell this to you. I'm sorry. So, yeah. But that's their company policy. So, if the policy is not to sell you the pesticide without a license, they won't sell it to you. But that's what I'm here for. I don't mind, giving you some pointers, telling you what kind of chemicals you can use or what work. Shoot me a message over on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, Green Acres Pest Control LLC. I try to answer my messages as quickly as possible. I do have an autoresponder that sends a message out every so often. If you message me to let you know, hey, I'll get to you as soon as I can. But all the messages do come directly to me. Anything on my YouTube channel, my comments below. Like I said, don't hesitate to leave a comment. If you're not embarrassed about cockroaches or you're not worried anybody will find out who you are, don't hesitate to ask me a question below. I don't mind answering that too. It looks like we got a message here, but my images are over top of it. So let's see what this is about. Hello there, homeowners can slap pesticide down anywhere. Well, if you want to go against the label, that's your choice. I don't recommend it. I mean, that's like you can buy a car and you can drive the car for thousands of miles and never change the oil because it's your car and you're the owner of the car. Now, is it something I would recommend? Of course not. That's crazy. But you go and you spend money on pesticide, you need to realize pesticide is poison. It's poison for bugs. All right, you don't want to spray poison in your house against the label. The label is the most it's the safest way that you can apply the pesticide is written in the label. So you need to understand that that's why the label's written the way it is. It's been going under rigorous testing by the FDA. It's been government approved. Would you take cold medicine? Would you take, well, say the label tells you take 2 aspirin for a headache. Would you take half a bottle? You know, it's the same thing. If you've got a pesticide, do you really want to misapply a pesticide when the label says only use this amount, only use it in these spots? Now, Tom, I wish I could get this to work. Let me see if I can get this to... Wow, that really messed up pretty bad. Let's see if I can get this to... Sorry, technical difficulty. There we go. Let's try that. That'll work for now. I'll get that fixed better next time. Licensed people have to follow the rules. Yes, that's true. We do. And there isn't going to be... This headset is really messed up. There isn't going to be any kind of legal repercussions for a homeowner. If a homeowner misapplies a chemical and they broadcast it all over the walls, all over the cabinets, whatever they want to do with it, they can do that. They're not going to lose their license because they don't have a license to lose. But the problem is, if you poison your children because you misapplied pesticide, or you poison your pet because you misapplied pesticide, when you go to court and you try to fight a legal battle with the pesticide maker, the pharmaceutical company or the chemical company that produced this pesticide, you're up... Wow, I almost cursed. But you're up creek without a paddle, basically. You're not going to be able to argue. You're not going to be able to say, well, yeah, I sprayed the chemical all over the floor. It's my fault I poisoned my kids. You know, you're not going to win that lawsuit. You're going to lose because you read the label, you went against the label, you didn't do what you were supposed to do. The label's there to protect you. That's what it's for. And so if you're going to disobey the label, by all means, if that's what you feel like you need to do, but I don't recommend it, ever. It's not smart. So, but Tom is right. You know, what Tom says, a homeowner is not under the same legal obligation as a pest control technician. Excuse me. But you need to understand that, you know, all right, let's say this. Let's say you're a landlord and you've got tenants and it's your house. You can spray pesticide in your house, right? No, you can't. Not legally. You're not allowed to. You have to evict those people, and that house has to be vacant before you could do any kind of pesticide applicating yourself. You can't be making any money off of that property if you're going to be doing pesticide application on that property. You have to be licensed. You can go to jail for that, for misapplication of pesticide in that instance. But a personal home where a homeowner just, you know, wants to go and spray some yellow jackets and they, you know, use a bedbug spray for yellow jackets, well, they could probably get away with that, you know. But if you go and you use Crossfire, because it's a neonicotinoid, and you spray your yellow jackets, and it drifts, and it lands on a bunch of daisies, and then honeybees come, and they land on the daisies, and then the honeybees go next door, where they're making honey for your neighbor, and they poison the entire hive, and the whole hive dies, you will be held liable for poisoning your neighbor's honeybees. because you went against the label. Crossfire specifically states it is to be used only indoors and only for bed bugs. Just like if you were to put antifreeze in your car and you spill antifreeze on the ground and your neighbor's dog comes over and drinks the antifreeze and dies, you're held criminally liable. It's your fault that that dog died because you didn't clean the antifreeze up off the ground. So understand that even misapplying chemical as a homeowner can have adverse, repercussions. You could end up paying a really stiff penalty for misapplying pesticide. I always advise people apply pesticide properly. It's not just for licensed professionals. It's the law for a licensed professional, but it's for your own safety. It's really just there to help you and to ensure that you don't poison yourself or your pets or your neighbor's pets or anything else like that. But anyway, like I said, that's something you get into when you do your own pest control. You need to realize that when you're going to do your own pest control, that you need to follow your label. The label is the most important part. That if you don't misapply the chemical, you're not going to be in any legal problems later down the road. If something does happen, it's not your fault. You followed the label. It must have been something else happened or someone else did something. Um, so yeah, but yeah, Tom's right. You can misapply all you want, but just understand that if you do, you could be in trouble. You could still get in trouble. Now, if I misapply chemical, I could lose my license. My entire livelihood would be gone. If I go in a customer's house and, I misapply rodenticide, I don't put it in a bait station or something like that, or, someone's dog gets a hold of it, chews it up, and gets poisoned and dies. Yeah, I could lose my license over that. And not only that, but I'd have to foot the whole bill for the losses and everything for the pet. That's pretty severe. It's a very severe punishment for misapplying pesticide when you're a pesticide applicator. But yeah. So anyway, I'm not exactly sure where I was after that. But hey, pretty, how are you doing tonight? I'm a little under the weather, but I'm here. I feel bad I didn't get a video out to anybody today because it's Friday, and usually I always have a video by Friday. And Wednesday, I was a pitiful Wednesday. I just didn't, I couldn't do another one today. I figured I'd do a live stream tonight, and you could deal with me coughing and hacking and spitting and stuff, but I try to, offer advice where I could tonight. So anyway, like I was saying, um, you have to look at roaches when you're dealing with cockroaches and you're dealing with chemical resistant cockroach strains. You have to constantly rotate your pesticides. Now, there's a lot of pesticides on the market. There's a lot to choose from. You could end up with one chemical that doesn't kill roaches at all because the roaches are immune to the pesticide. So that's something that you need to consider. You could just waste $100 on a bottle of concentrated chemical that you've mixed. Now let's say that you call somebody over the phone, or you go to Amazon or whatever, and you buy your pesticide. Now you've got it. You've got everything you need to kill roaches. Mix up a gallon of chemical. Spray your house for cockroaches. And then the roaches don't die from what you sprayed. You might get 20% kill. 80% of the roaches are still there. The 80% that are still there are already immune to what you've applied. That's trouble. Now you've basically wasted, $100 on this chemical that you've gone and applied in your house. You've done the right job. You followed the label. You did everything according to label, and the roaches still don't die from it because the roaches are already immune to what you're using. So you need to understand that immunity does exist. And when you're trying to do your own pest control for cockroaches, you are going to run into that with cockroaches. So roaches, now this is like something I'm going to be going into on the following weeks. Roaches they're a beast all on their own. They'll be here probably long since we're gone, honestly. They could withstand a microwave. You get them in a microwave oven and turn it on and it won't even kill them at all. They can withstand the radiation from nuclear blasts and everything. So what you need to do with cockroaches, you can dust them with like boric acid or diatomaceous earth. You can use baits like Max Force gel bait, Advion. Max Force is fipronil. Most roaches have become immune to fipronil because it's been out for several years. and they've already developed an immunity to it, I have found that most roaches don't die from it anymore. But that's fipronil. So if you look at the active ingredient, and I will spell it out in the chat for those of you guys who are watching tonight, fipronil, that's the active ingredient in uh, Max Force jailbait. Now, that is also the active ingredient in Termidor and several other pesticides as well. It's but roaches are pretty much immune to fipronil now. It's not really very effective. You might be able to get it to work on cockroaches. It just depends, I guess, geographically where you are. I know here in Central Virginia, they're pretty much immune to it. It doesn't kill them anymore. There's other different roach baits like Advion. That's a name brand. Onslaught. I've never used Onslaught, but I've used Advion. I've had really good results with Advion. So that's what I've been using lately. I will rotate Advion with oh shoot, what's that other one? I can't remember what its name is now. I've been using them for so long. I can't remember, and I don't have my phone to look it up because I've got it in my database. But anyway, yeah, there's several different roach baits that I've been kind of circulating around and using. You need to rotate your baits just like you rotate your pesticides. So your liquid pesticides, will stay in rotation along with your bait because, like I said, the roaches will get immune to that just like they'll get immune to your insecticide. And if the roaches aren't taking the bait, if you go and you bait like you take like a light switch cover or something like that off and you look behind it and you realize the roaches haven't taken the bait, it's probably not something they're interested in. You need to wipe it off, clean it off, and put new bait down. I know a lot of exterminators I've gone behind, they just make a mess with the bait. They leave it all over the place. It looks nasty. It's, you put it places where people aren't going to be able to see it, especially in your restaurants. You really don't want people to see poison all over the wall in a restaurant. It doesn't look like poison, looks like peanut butter, but, most people don't want to see smeared peanut butter all over the wall either. Put it in cracks and crevices around the the molding around a refrigerator or the places that the roaches are going to go to, but no one's going to see the bait. So that's pro tip. um, Also, your dusts and things like that, you really want to keep them to wall voids, inside wall voids and maybe around compressor motors, places like that, around your refrigerator units and stuff where the roaches live and you can't put a liquid because you could destroy the compressor unit. You could put dusts and things and baits around areas like that too. So, and you don't want to spray your bait. You don't want to contaminate your bait. There's a lot to understand when dealing with cockroaches yourself. That's why I just always advise people just hire an exterminator. It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot less headache. And if you factor in all the prices you're going to spend on baits, dusts, liquid pesticide, the spray tank, the all the proper equipment in order to do the job correctly, you're going to spend more than you would pay for an extermination contract for a year. You could have a trained professional that is licensed and insured that is not going to you're not going to have that risk of chemical exposure to you or your children or your pets come in your house, spray your house for an entire year, and you may still come out ahead over doing it yourself. It reminds me, I was 17, got my first car. It was a 1975 Plymouth Duster. I still have it. It's a great car. It's got a slant six motor. It will fly. It's got a 4-speed in the floor. It's a great car. I love it. It's a sports car. I rebuilt the motor in that car. I was probably about 19 years old. I took the whole motor out, uh, reconditioned the pistons. What happened was the oil filled up the what's it called? Oil filter. The oil filter inside the oil pan filled up full of trash debris, and so it wasn't sucking oil up, and so it threw bearing in the middle of the motor. And I watched several things on YouTube. Not actually, YouTube really wasn't around that much back then, but I found some really good research material online. I might have been using Yahoo Video at the time, but if for those that remember Yahoo videos. But anyway, what I did was I rebuilt the whole motor. I pulled the whole motor out of the car, used cherry picker, rebuilt the whole motor. I had probably $700 in that car when everything was said and done, and I could have paid a mechanic $600 to put a 318 in the car. I would have had a bigger block motor, an 8-cylinder motor rather than a 6-cylinder motor, and a 318 is a good motor. But I ended up spending $750 some dollars, and it would have been better just to hire a mechanic. And that's why I said there are certain instances with pest control that you're just better off hiring pest control, because you're not going to be able to beat the guy at his trade. Now, when it comes to bed bugs, if you've got an area where people are insistent on heat treatments and you know the heat treatment's not going to work for you, it works for some people, it doesn't work for everybody. If you've got an older home and there's lots of cracks in places where the bed bugs to get away from the heat, then you'll want to use a chemical application, and you may have to do it yourself. You may not have any other option. And in that instance, you're going to save thousands of dollars doing it yourself. That's something that I would recommend. And I recommend to customers locally too, if they want to save money and they want to try it themselves, by all means, give it a shot. I tell all my customers, try it yourself. If you think you can do it, do it. I don't mind giving you advice and trying to help you out if you need help. I mean, I do it all the time online. Anybody can look me up on YouTube at any time and get any information from me anytime they want. So, I always advise people, you could do this, it'll save you money. You could do this, it'll save you money. You could pay me, I could do it for you. Or you could do this, just do it the way I do it, and you'll save money. I don't mind giving advice to people. So, I don't think there was really, is there anything else? I don't think there's really any other points.
I mean, termite work.
Well, termite work. Well, yeah, termite work, termites are a whole new ball game when it comes to pest control. You can get a pretty good termite treatment nowadays from an exterminator at a pretty fair price. Termidor is like a 16-year lifespan. Now, this is eastern subterranean termites we're talking about. It's better to have an original. Oh, yeah, Tom, you're right. Two people in Ohio in the same week burned their house down from bed bugs. 2 people. And people in Ohio, they use flamethrowers to kill their bed bugs. That's I've heard of people talking about, well, the only way you're going to kill roaches is by burning your house down. But the only thing those articles, I was reading those articles, it's funny. The only thing the article mentioned was that the first one displaced, I think it was 5 adults and 3 kids, and the second one was 3 adults and 3 kids or something like that, several children. Each time, kids and adults both had to leave the house. Not once did they say the bed bugs actually died from the failed heat treatment. That's a heat treatment for you. But anyway, what happened was they were using isopropyl alcohol. Now, this is a do-it-yourself pest control problem. One of the things that you can look at on YouTube, ways to do it yourself with bed bugs. One of the number 1 things on YouTube, other than diatomaceous earth, is isopropyl alcohol. Diatomaceous earth is awful, by the way. It will kill bed bugs, but it is misapplied 98% of the time. It's not applied properly. You're not going to kill bed bugs if you don't apply it properly. I'm going to do a video showing how to apply the dust properly, but that's going to be in one of my cockroach videos coming up soon. And it's the same way for bed bugs as well. So I'm going to show you how to do that on a video. But if you want to kill bed bugs with diatomaceous earth, I'm going to show you how to do it. But when it comes to bed bugs, people are using isopropyl alcohol, and they're soaking their mattress. They're treating themselves. They're coating themselves from head to toe in alcohol in order to keep the bed bugs from biting them. It's alcohol. Alcohol is very, very flammable. Very flammable. All right. All it takes is just a little light, let's say, oh yeah, well, I've done doused my bed and myself down with some alcohol. Here, let me have a cigarette. And blow the whole house up. I mean, yeah, that's what happens. People catch your house on fire. Now, do you think cheap, very cheap, isopropyl alcohol saved them any money on their bedbug treatment when they burned their house down? A house is an expensive thing to replace. And I'm sure they would have saved a lot of money even if they had to do 16 heat treatments, it wouldn't have cost what it did to burn their house down. You know, you you gotta you gotta weigh. You know, you got your pros and cons. Do I want to burn my house down, or do I want to kill my bugs? You know, you gotta think about that too. But yeah, yeah, that's a good point, Tom. I had forgotten about that until you just mentioned it. That just happened a couple weeks ago. I did a show the very first day I got that story in. But then it was not even a week later, and a second story was released where a woman had done it too, and I was like, wow, that's yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? To say the least. So, well, I'm gonna give my voice a little rest tonight. I'm gonna get on and get off of here and quit blabbing so much. I've been on for almost an hour now. You guys have a really great evening. I really appreciate it. You can, like I said, check out my website if you want. You can send me any messages you want over there. If you have any more questions or any comments, don't hesitate to leave them below. And I'm gonna get off of here and try to get better. Y'all have a great one. I appreciate it.